What's up, fam? I did not come to play. So tonight we are about to get down in the kitchen. I made some baked salmon with some creamy cheese sauce, with some seared shrimp, along with some citrus garlic broccolini. Let's get into it, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and clean our broccolini, and I'm gonna show you how to do mine. I just put a little kosher salt on with a little cool warm water, and I wash that 2 to 3 times to make sure I get it all clean. And this is how I personally devein and clean my shrimp. I first take the whole shell off, depending on the recipe, but for this one, I'm taking the whole shell and the tail off. I do get the medium jumbo shrimp that's already been deveined at the top, but I also like to get that lining from the bottom, which you see me doing here. If you don't feel comfortable with a knife, you can use a toothpick. That is the alternative, but it's easier for me to just use my little knife. And as you see, I'm just checking to make sure it's all out and clean. These are the seasonings I'm going to be using: garlic, onion, paprika, and black powder. I go ahead and put my shrimp on a paper towel and I blot dry before I season them up. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean my skinless salmon, and I'm also going to put that on a paper towel and blot it dry. These are the seasonings I'm going to use on my salmon. I'm going to use a little bit of seafood blend, some kosher salt, some Creole, and some Mrs. Dash. So I just go ahead and sprinkle to taste. I kind of eyeball it, but you can use about a half of a teaspoon, a little less than that if you're on a low sodium diet. But I just go ahead and sprinkle what I think is enough. But all of the ingredients will be in the description box down below, so please take a look if you want exact measurements, you guys. So we want to make sure that we season both sides, but I'm going to first season one side, then sear it. And as one side is searing, then I'm going to go ahead and season the underside. Don't mind my baby's foot. She was definitely helping me record because we were having technical difficulties. But I'm going to go ahead and heat up my skillet on medium-high heat. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of salted butter. Why? Because we like flavor around here. And we're just going to move that around, get that all melted. And then we're going to go ahead and put our salmon in our skillet. Once we cook that on one side for about 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and flip. And on top, I'm going to go ahead and melt some garlic butter along with some thyme to give it some extra flavor. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lemon. Don't forget to take those seeds off. For recording purposes, I only had one hand, so I had to do what I had to do. Now, I went ahead and took my salmon out, and then I put a little bit more tablespoon of garlic butter, and I am going to sear my shrimp. So I just lay it down on one side, and I only cook it for literally 1 minute on each side. I don't want to overcook it. I just want to cook it well enough to get it a nice char on there, because I am going to be letting it cook as it's resting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cook. And then once we get about to 30 seconds to a minute, like I said, we're just going to go ahead and flip over. And it should have a nice sear to it. And then we're going to take that out of the pan and place it on a plate. And we're going to let it rest. And as it's resting, it's still going to be heating up and cooking. So this is what your shrimp should look like when it's all complete and on the plate resting. Now we're going to go ahead and salt our water. We're going to add in our broccolini, and we're going to go ahead and steam for about 5 to 10 minutes just until it's slightly tender. We're gonna do the same thing for our potatoes. We're gonna go ahead and season with a little kosher salt, and then we're gonna add in our red and white mini potatoes. We're gonna go ahead and boil our potatoes until they are tender. And how I check, I just go ahead and put a little wood stick through it, and if it slides down or if it goes all the way through, I know that they're ready to be taken out. So I cooked mine for about 10 to 15 minutes. At this point, I went ahead and took the salmon out of the oven that I had set at 350. I only put it in for about 10 minutes just to give. Now, once we got our broccolini tender, we're going to go ahead and drain, and then we're going to go ahead and put a pan with a tablespoon of butter, salted butter, along with salt and pepper and some garlic, about a teaspoon of garlic. And then we're going to mix together along with some fresh squeezed lemon. And we're just going to go ahead and saute that just to incorporate all the flavors. Now we are going to get into this cheese sauce that is just delicious. So we're going to go ahead and start with a tablespoon of butter, salted butter. Y'all already know. And then we're just going to go ahead and melt that around. We're going to go ahead and put in 1 cup of whipping cream. And then we're going to add in a slice of Havarti cheese and a slice of Gouda cheese. And then I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some shaved Parmesan. And you can use any cheese that you like, but this is just what I had on hand. I put in a dash of Creole seasoning just to give it a little kick. Less than a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Less than a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Some black pepper. And y'all don't mind my nails. Y'all know I cook and do nails, so I have to do a little practice nail. And then we're just going to cook this on low to low medium heat, and we're just going to stir around until all of our cheese has been melted and incorporated. Now while our sauce is cooking, now we're just going to go ahead and smash up our potatoes. Went ahead and drained them. And I just do a rough smash. I like the texture of the skin. And I like the texture of the big piece of potatoes. But you can make it as creamy as you want. I add in a half a cup of whipping cream just to give it that real creaminess. I add in half of a tablespoon of butter. And then I added my seasonings. I added half a tablespoon of garlic, onion, black pepper, and also half of a teaspoon of salt. And then I just go ahead and mix that all up to the consistency that I love, which is creamy. Now let's go ahead and plate. This meal was delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do put my heart and soul in making these videos. This is only the beginning for me. So if you could please like, subscribe, and thumbs up, I would definitely appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed night. Love y'all, fam.